Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It's not the United Stand, it's That's Football. I hope you're all doing really well. Very excited about this game indeed. Leicester against Chelsea in the Premier League. It's one I'd looked at a couple of weeks ago and I was just very excited about it. And I hope you are as well. I think it's got the potential to be a real cracker. And I think that with Chelsea, there is all this news that maybe Lampard would be sacked if he lost this game. I don't know what initially what are people's thoughts on that. Is that fair that Lampard could get sacked? And welcome, hi Alvin Blocks, not seen you for a while. Hope you're doing well. Is it fair that if he was to lose this game, he would get sacked? You know what? I've got to be consistent here. I don't really want to see Arteta, Lampard. Well, Solskjaer won't be sacked now anyway, but I would have thrown him into that equation. I don't really want to see them getting sacked. I don't think that it's right. I do like to see a bit of patience in the modern game. Having said that, if Chelsea were to lose and with Leicester West Ham winning 2-1, I think it puts the situation quite stark for Frank Lampard if he does lose this game. So we're going to go through the team news in a minute, but in effect, Chelsea at this moment in time, a lot of people saying he should be sacked. Chelsea at this moment in time in the league, the players are just about to come out as well, so we will be starting very, very soon. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner, on the road to 300k. If we get to 300k, I'm doing a Royal Rumble live watch-along. Okay, now I've not watched the Royal Rumble for years. I do like it, though. So, yeah, Chelsea at 29 points at the moment. West Ham have just won their 32 points. Chelsea in 8th place. If Chelsea lose this game, effectively by Thursday night they will be 8 points off 4th place, and I think that's too many based on the games they've got to play. Chelsea need to win and win again to get in a top 4 race. I know Arsenal at the moment, they're looking at 4th place and saying, well, you know what, we're only 7 points behind Liverpool, but you're 7 points behind Liverpool in 4th place. It's a lot of points to make up. You've got to win, catch up, win. It's very, very difficult for Chelsea. And I think it's impossible for Arsenal, but it's very, very difficult for Chelsea if they don't start winning games consistently. They beat Fulham at the weekend. They didn't play particularly well against Fulham. Can they take that win and build on that momentum? Of course, Leicester doing fantastically well at the moment. Leicester deserves some respect because Leicester can be top of the league if they win tonight. What an incentive it is for them. It's not going to be an easy game, and I do feel that Leicester have become a better side recently because of their ability to get people back. Keeping Vardy fit, Ndidi, Tielemans and Maddison, Harvey Barnes on the left, Fofana with Evans, Justin. Sionku, I think, is still injured, isn't he? Or he can't even get in the team. So, come on, Leicester, show why London is red, says Zayn Miasi. Let's go through the teams. Schmeichel in goal for Leicester. Castagne, Fofana, Evans and Justin, a good back 4. Ndidi, Tielemans, Albrighton, Maddison, Barnes as a midfield 5, and Vardy up front. Sionku is actually on the bench for them. He doesn't actually start. Sionku's on the bench, Perez on the bench, Chowdhury on the bench. Ricardo Pereira is back on the bench now. They're a very good right back. Chelsea, interesting team news for Chelsea. Mendy in goal, James in at right back, Thiago Silva, Rudiger, Chilwell. I think that's a good back 4 for them. Havertz starts with Kovacic and Mount. A lot of pressure on Kovacic in that system. No Jorginho, no Kante. They've gone with Kovacic, with Mount and Havertz, Hudson-Odoi, Abraham and Pulisic. So no Giroud, no Werner in this game. On the bench for no Ziyech as well. So Ziyech's on the bench, Zuma's on the bench, Werner, Jorginho, Christensen, Ziyech, Gilmour, Aspilicueta, Emerson, Giroud not even on the bench, so maybe he's not even fit. So another throw of the dice for Chelsea, another different team for Chelsea. And I think it's going to be a very interesting game. Thanks for the super chats coming in. Tom Curtis says, praying for a Chelsea win here, so our dream at being at top will carry on for that little bit longer. Yeah, you know what? From a Manchester United point of view, I think a draw would be nice. I do feel that Chelsea, it's amazing, really. I do feel that Chelsea could, with the quality that they've got, I've never quite understood this, and hopefully we've got some Chelsea fans in tonight in the live comments. I've never really understood what's going on at Chelsea. I like Lampard. I think he's a good coach. He's got amazing players and they're massively underperforming. And, I saw somebody this morning say this and they're absolutely spot on. If Lampard gets sacked and they get a different manager in, they could suddenly go on a 20-game unbeaten run because they've got so many good players. It's just not clicking. What I would say as a word of warning is, if these players have had enough of Lampard, this might end badly for Chelsea and Lampard. If these players are with Lampard, I expect them to go on a good run. Solskjaer was in exactly the same position ahead of that Everton game. The news was coming out that he was going to be sacked. The news was coming out that that Poch was going to get his job. He's been unbeaten in 12 league games since that, with 9 wins and 3 draws. So are these Chelsea players with Lampard or are they against him? We're going to find that out tonight. But a long ball forward there, and I think it's going to be a throw-in to Chelsea. So why can't we play a 4-4-2? Man United should sign young Cam called Mike. I'm not going to read that, Pooh man. You know, you've got to be a little bit cleverer than that. But thanks everyone for tuning in. Excited about this one. We have kicked off, and I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game because there's so much on it, and I do think that there is a possibility that if Lampard loses this, he will be sacked. You're my favourite YouTuber and person. I love it, says Sam Morgan. I've just recorded a game for Goldbridge. I don't even know if I'm going to put it up. I'm sure everyone is going to say you've got to put it up. It's a bit of a, you know, like Jerry Maguire at the start of the film, Jerry Maguire, when he has a mission statement against the industry he works in. It's sort of a bit like that. And I don't really know if it's a good idea to put it up because it's a bit of a frank assessment of the industry I work in. In an exclusive interview, Ollie said Jack, Dio, Jaden and Rice is on his wish list, and also that he prioritises the Premier League. Love from Norway, says X Bear. Thank you very much for that. And we want going for Goldbridge, says Jack Palmer. See, everyone already is saying put it up. I'm going to have to listen to it tomorrow morning before I decide if I'm going to put it up yet. But if it goes up, it'll go up on Thursday. Jerry Maguire's better than Harry Maguire, says 100 cherries. Anyway, good start to the game. Really interested to see how Havertz does. I mean, Havertz is a player that I would have took at United. And I'm sure a lot of people, you know, Bayern Munich would have took him. Real Madrid would have took him. He was a very, very good... I mean, Chelsea made 2 really good signings in Werner and Havertz that most teams in the league would have signed. And they've just not materialised into good signings. But they're not... You know, I know it's funny when a club buys a player that you quite like the look of and they don't succeed. But in the case of Havertz and Werner, let's be honest, there's loads of teams that would have liked to have got those 2. Can West Ham get Europa? I love your channel, mate, says T36. I think West Ham just need to keep winning. They're doing very well, aren't they? Did you watch the test match between India and Australia? Test match. India win at the Gabba, where Australia have not lost in 32 years. India's main players were injured, says Shura. A very, very good result. I didn't watch it, but I did hear about it, that's for sure. And they did very, very, very well. No career mode today, Rapid. No, it's back tomorrow. It's a new season, isn't it? So I don't disrespect Villa, Henry. I really like Villa. I don't know where this I disrespect Villa shit's come from. I like Villa. I've done a Villa career mode. I've done a Villa play football manager mode. I like Villa. I do like Villa. I'm very honest about what I think about Villa, but I do like them. Chelsea's bench on paper is amazing, says DBX. I think Chelsea's squad in general is amazing. Be interesting. Chelsea have started off quite well here. It's going to be interesting. It's a big test for Leicester. Chelsea have started off the better side here, but Leicester have not really got going. But I'm interested to watch James Maddison tonight. I must admit, I don't know about you, I've not really watched many Leicester games recently. Lovely running by Harvey Barnes. Oh, Justin should have committed himself there. So, yeah, I've not watched many Leicester games recently. And I'm interested to see what they can do. And Diddy's back, of course. Tillemans. Maddison's been very good. I've seen a lot of goals from him. So, yeah. Leicester will hit them on the break, says Spec. Well, Fulham. I think Fulham would have got a result against Chelsea at the weekend. So, Chelsea have got to take that win and build on it. Do you watch basketball, says Alex Riddle? It's not on at the moment, is it? When does the basketball season start? It's all about the NFL at the moment, isn't it? Chiefs probably going to win it. Chiefs or the Packers. I think it would be the Chiefs for the Packers final, won't it? Oh, the NBA's already started, apparently. Yeah, it must be a very long season. Oh, if it's already started... I obviously don't watch the NBA then, do I? But I just thought, because I'd been watching a bit of NBA in the summer when they were doing, they were all in that camp in Florida. I presumed they had a bit of a longer off-season, but maybe that was because of the delays. I'd love the Cowboys to win it next year, the NFL, Ben Donaldson. The Cowboys has always been my team because it was my team as a kid. And you know what? I do know NFL probably more than I know basketball or any other sport, because I used to play a lot of John Madden on the Mega Drive EA. So yeah, I used to love playing. It's not as good as football. It's nowhere near as good as football, but I used to love playing John Madden on EA when it was snowing and stuff. Cross comes in from Leicester. It's a decent cross, and Abraham has to put it out for a corner. Do you have an FPL league, Mark? Would love to join one. You think Havertz has been getting a similar treatment than Van der Beek? Says Carl to SDM. Thanks for the super chats coming in. And I think Havertz has had more opportunities than Van der Beek. Correct me if I'm wrong. And Jake Colleran with the super chat says, Mo and Sadia against your fullbacks didn't go how I wanted it to. We couldn't score in a brothel, Mark. I think certain players struggle against certain players. Like Gary Neville was always very good against Figo. Ashley Cole was always brilliant against Ronaldo. And I think Luke Shaw's very good against Salah. Cut back. Oh, that should have been a goal for Leicester. And did he? He scores! It's 1-0 to Leicester! And did he? It's in off the post. It looked like it was a missed kick. The cross came in. Maddison missed it. Comes to Ndidi on the edge of the box, who sort of sliced it with his left foot. Well, it's like slicing an orange and putting it into a cool glass of Coca-Cola. Does that even go? Orange and Coca-Cola? Well, Ndidi slices it in with his left foot. The cross comes in. There might be an offside. I don't know. Old Brighton, when he cuts it back, is he offside? I tell you what, he doesn't really. I thought he mishits it, Ndidi. He just catches it perfectly. Hopefully this will stay a goal. I'm just wondering when Maddison gives it back to Old Brighton on the cross. It's a lovely hit by Ndidi. Slices across it, and he's wearing orange boots. Lovely hit. Lovely hit. I think it's offside. No, it's given. It's been given. They haven't looked at it. So that's 1-0 to Leicester. What a hit, Ndidi. Indeedy. It's a hit by Ndidi. Sign him up. Well, that's not the start that Chelsea wanted, but it's the start. It's the start that we wanted. You always want an early a goal in a neutral game. Who would you take at United who is playing now? We'll come back to that one from George, because we've got an early goal and it's delivering a bit of excitement. What do you think about that, everybody? Has that put a cat amongst the pigeons or a fox amongst the lions? See what I did there? Good hit. Good goal. Calhoun says, even as a United fan, I'd like Timo to do well. The hatred towards him is very harsh. I do like Timo Werner. I think he's a good player, but he's having a bloody nightmare, to be honest with you, at Leicester. He is having a nightmare at Leicester. He's sitting on the bench, but he's a fantastic player. Lampard in the mud again. If you watch NBA, watch Brooklyn Nets. They're amazing, says Oi Oi. And Mark, do you want Lampard to stay as a rival fan, says Harris. I mean, look, I'm not going to lie. Lampard staying at Chelsea is better for Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea. It's not better for Chelsea. Spurs, Arsenal, Man City, because he's got probably the best squad in the league. So of course I want him to stay because they're not doing very well. But on a human level, I want him to stay because I never really liked him as a player because he was a massive rival. But listening to him as a pundit and that, I think he's a nice guy in relation to I like to listen to what he's got to say. I was impressed with their football last year. I was impressed with what he did at Derby. This year, you know what? If he ends up getting the sack, I'll repeat what I said before the season started. There is that saying, you can have too much of a good thing. And I think he's had too much. I think he's had too many good players. Did you see the Aubameyang miss? He did a Werner, says Big Josh. Yeah, but he went and scored 2 other goals, didn't he? So yeah, I think that... you can see Lampard's problem, can't you? You saw it against Fulham. He started Giroud. He brings Werner on. Ziyech starts. He takes him off. He plays Jorginho. Tonight, he drops Jorginho. He drops Ziyech. He doesn't play Werner. He plays Havertz, who's been dropped. He plays James. He doesn't play Aspilicueta. You know, he's chopping and changing his team all the time. I think he's got too many options. He's got an amazing squad, but I think he's got too many options. And the problem is, if you're a Chelsea manager, and you must not be happy. Michael Manning says you're not top of the league at the moment. Yeah, I've just realised that. You mustn't be happy as a Chelsea fan. But imagine I'm the best manager in the world and I'm free and I'm available, and you sack Lampard tomorrow. There's another corner for Leicester here. You sack Lampard tomorrow and I come in, unveiled by Roman, as your new manager. Whoever I've got as in my next game, I've still got to drop Havertz or Werner or Mason Mount or Pulisic or Ziyech or Hudson-Odoi or or Kante or Jorginho. I've got to drop 4 or 5 good players because Chelsea's squad is too big. They've got too many players that really are first team players, and that's the problem. They bought too many players in the summer, and I'd never blame Lampard for that, but I think they did buy too many players. Nothing happens with the corner. 10 minutes gone. I think we're going to get a good game now. I think the right team has scored first if you want a good game. Leicester scoring first puts that pressure onto Chelsea. Love the content. Quick question: if the title race was between Liverpool and Arsenal, who would you rather win it? Says LFC Aaron. Well, before I woke up, because it will never happen, because Arsenal will never be in a title race, I would choose Arsenal to win it. I'd hate it because, unfortunately, Arsenal do have some Pratt fans who would just be unbearable. But I could never want Liverpool to level up with our record. And that's respect to Liverpool, isn't it? Because whoever you don't want to win is the team that you actually respect more because you just don't want them to win. I think Giroud is Chelsea's best striker, to be honest, says Big Josh. I presume Giroud is injured because he's not even on the bench. Did you see Partey's pass to Aubameyang? Pogba who, says Amiasi. I saw that you're in 10th place. That's all that matters. Know your place. We're not top at the moment. Anyway, Leicester are top. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 300,000 subscribers, so please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Andrew C. with the super chat says, Mark, Lampard is going. TalkSport confirmed it last night. It's a case of when, not if. They've got candidates lined up, but reporter didn't reveal, says Andrew C. It is starting to look like that. Lovely little ball there. It's going to go for a goal kick. And Juan David van der Burr says, Mark, if there is 2 players you can get from one of these 2 teams, who would you take that can help us win the title? 2 players on that pitch that I would take to Manchester United right now to help us win the title. Ndidi. I would take Ndidi because I think he's the best CDM on the pitch and Manchester United need a CDM. And then the other position that United would need is a right winger or a centre-back. And on the centre-backs, I'd probably take Fofana, to be honest with you. I think he fits the profile. I wouldn't take Thiago Silva. I wouldn't take Johnny Evans because they don't fit the profile of centre-back that we want. So it'd have to be Rudiger or Fofana. I mean, right wingers on that pitch, I wouldn't want Albrighton and I wouldn't want... I don't mind... is he actually... Hudson-Odoi's playing, isn't he? So, no, I think I'd take Fofana and Ndidi, to be honest with you. Yeah. Mark, would you hate to see Lukaku go to City since there are rumours going on about him going there? Says Chuck Steak. I can't for the life of me see that Lukaku would go and play for Pep. I mean, I was saying about it today. Lukaku is clearly a top-class striker, but I just don't think he is. There's no logic. Well, there is logic to it. He is a top-class striker and he scores loads of goals. He did it at United, but I never liked him as a footballer. I think he is like a brick wall. His build-up play is so clumsy, but he's a brilliant striker. I can't knock him for that. I'm not saying he's a terrible player because if you want goals, get Lukaku. I can't see how Lukaku would fit in a Pep Guardiola team. If he can't fit in a Solskjaer team who wants to play football, how would he fit in a Pep team or a Klopp team? So I can't see that. I can't. Can you imagine when we get Rodgers, Saka, Martinelli will go up to a next level, says Amiasi. And if you were Chelsea manager, what would your starting 11 be, says Hodge Burn It Down? That's a good question. Career mode's back tomorrow, Liam Barker. It's a new season. It's a new start and we need a good start. Mark, when's the new career mode going to win it, says Martin McCullough. Yeah, back tomorrow. Burnley are going to get it. We've been on pre-season. Who would I... please share the video if you're watching, by the way, because we're on our way to 9,000 watching, which is fantastic. I think we're in for a good game tonight. Already 1-0 to Leicester. Chelsea pressure, Lampard. I said it before the game kicked off, though, didn't I? Have these Chelsea players downed tools already mentally? Are they with the manager, or are they aware that he's on his way out? Are they playing for the manager, or are they going to play against the manager? And I know loads of Chelsea fans who say, look, love the club, love a lot of these players, but there is a history in the last decade of this club downing tools to get rid of a manager. Have they given up on the manager? Because the one thing about United, they could have done that. That Everton game, they could have given up, and Ollie would have been gone. And they've not. They've gone with him. Are these players going to stand up for Lampard? I hope they do. Keep up the great work, Mark. Loving the content, says Tom K. Thanks very much for the super chat, Tom. So my best Chelsea 11, and considering I don't watch a lot of Chelsea. Oh, wait a minute. Old Brighton's coming down the right-hand side. He's held on to that for too long. Or has he? Maddison. Oh, he's hit the bar. Maddison from the edge of the box. Hits the bar. And I don't think this midfield of Mount and Havertz and Kovacic is working. When I saw the team, I said this. That is too much work for Kovacic, and he is getting absolutely run off all the time. And who's marking Maddison there? Good hit by Maddison. He hits the bar. Hits the top of the bar. I mean, it's not what he's got. He's got his pink. It's the pink boots. It's the pink boots, Maddison. Hits the bar with that. But, yeah, my best Chelsea side, if everybody's fit. Obviously, Mendy goes in goal. I'd put Reece James at right back. I would put Chilwell at left back, even though I don't rate him defensively. I don't think there's anybody better that they've got. Centre-backs, I would probably play Zuma and Rudiger. I don't actually think Thiago Silva's been a very good signing for them. I know that's controversial. Having said that, I'm not a Chelsea fan, so maybe Thiago Silva and Rudiger is the best, or Zuma, I don't know. But I would go Zuma and Rudiger. My midfield, you've got to play a 2. I think in the modern game, you've got to play a 2. And I would play Kovacic and Kante, if he's fit. And then my number 10 would be Havertz, because I just think he's a fantastic player and you've just got to get the best out of him. My right-sided player would be Ziyech. My left-sided player would be Pulisic. And up front, I would have Werner. And I would work with... And I know that means you're not picking Mason Mount, and I do like Mason Mount, and I do like Hudson-Odoi, and I think Giroud's a valuable player. But for me, this was the team I always thought Chelsea were going to pick. I always thought he would have Werner, Havertz behind him, Pulisic to the left, Ziyech to the right, Kovacic and Kante. And I think that's I don't know whether he's ever played that team. And look, you might have problems with it at the start, but fluidity would come eventually. I think it just changes his team too much. Zlatan has much better goals per minutes played than Ronaldo and every player in Serie A this season, and you have said that you don't rate him, says Elias. Some people disagree. That's absolutely fine. What relevance does Zlatan scoring goals in Serie A have to Manchester United when he was dusted at United? Like, he tried to come back and he didn't have the legs. Like, he didn't. The Premier League is not Serie A. We had Bournemouth coming to Old Trafford against Zlatan and playing on the halfway line and pressing us on the edge of our own box. Zlatan knows he can't do a job in the Premier League anymore. He went to America, he did very well, and Serie A probably suits him because it's a bit slower. But in the Premier League, look, Zlatan's a legend of the game. He's an amazing player. He's probably scored one of the best goals we've ever seen, that one against England. He's a fantastic footballer. But I think his time in the Premier League with Manchester United was over when it was over, and that's why he left. He knew. After that knee injury, he knew. Trust me, Rudiger is the German Phil Jones. He's a travesty under pressure. This is great banter. Well, you see, I don't watch them enough to know that. Whenever I see him, I always think he looks quite competent. Thanks for the shows, Mark. Will you do Chelsea versus Wolves Wechalung next Wednesday at 6 before the United game? All the best, says Matthew Larney. I won't, mate, because I just don't have time. I'll have it on when I'm doing the United Stand team news, but we're live an hour and a half before kickoff, so I can never watch a game before it. So like tomorrow, I'd love to watch Man City Aston Villa. I will have it on the telly, but we'll be live talking about the team news for Fulham. So that's how I do it, really. Chelsea on the attack here. Cross comes in. Chilwell picks it up on the back post. We've only had 20 minutes in this game, so there's plenty of time for Chelsea to get back into it. But again, you know what? I said it on Sunday. I said it on Saturday when they played Fulham. And I said it the last time I watched Chelsea before that as well. Very, very good players. I don't see a system. I don't see a fluidity. They don't create chances, Chelsea. They just don't create chances, and I don't understand why. What is it, everybody? Is it because he changes the team too much? Why don't they create chances? And look how deep Tammy Abraham's come there. You're the number 9. Get on the edge of the box. Nice interchange here. Reece James into the box. And it goes for a corner. After the summer, United fans have repressed how good Sancho is. Would add so much balance and fluidity to our right side attacking, says Oscar Coleman. Thank you very much for the super chat, Oscar. CBTV says Lampard changes the team way too much and I don't rate Abraham. Well, what a bit of a corner for Chelsea here. Just before we talk about Tammy Abraham, let's just see what happens with the corner. It's a good corner. Chelsea have scored a lot of goals from corners and they nearly did again there. Thiago Silva on the front post flicked it towards the goal, but Kasper Schmeichel just punches it away quite comfortably. Very good goalkeeper, isn't he, Kasper Schmeichel? Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. We're on the road to 300k, so subscribe, get involved with the channel. And next, I've got a really good video. I'm going to do it live on Thursday lunchtime. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, but it's interactive. You're going to really enjoy it. And I think on Thursday night, we're going to do Liverpool-Burnley as well, because being as United are in a title race, I think, Liverpool-Burnley, maybe Burnley can do me a favour instead of doing me over for once. But a good header by Thiago Silva, but a straightforward punch away by Kasper Schmeichel. Andrew C says, thoughts on Chelsea job being too early for Lampard, had only one season with Derby. Look at Gerrard biding his time at Rangers before the Liverpool job. I think it'll be really sad. It's going to be really sad if they sack Lampard. He's probably one of Chelsea's biggest legends. Chelsea's history is not that of Manchester United or Liverpool. I think Chelsea had a bit of a history in the early 70s with people like Peter Osgood and that. But realistically, this modern history of Chelsea is their biggest success in their history. The Champions League, the league titles that they've won. Frank Lampard was there for the majority of that. I'd say that who's Chelsea's biggest legend? Is it John Terry? Is it Frank Lampard? It's got to be one of those two players. To sack him after just over a year, it shows you the ruthlessness of football. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision, but it would be very, very sad. Latest United news is on the United stand at the moment. They're live, Flex and KG, if you want to go and give them a raid and say Mark loves you. Havertz belongs in Serie A. NBC Sports reported he's telling people he's having trouble with the physicality of the Premier League, says Russian Nightmare. And hi Mark, I've tried to reach out to you regarding an article I'm writing for an online footy publication. I DM'd you on Insta. My handle is @Dory4N. I don't check Insta Pixel because I don't really know what I'm doing on Insta, if I'm honest. But I'll have a look after the show. Legends should not be managers, says Footy Legend. Well, Solskjaer's doing quite well. He is doing quite well. We're nearly at 10,000 watching, so please share the video if you are watching. You can share it on the share button, Twitter and Facebook. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We were just going to talk about Tammy Abraham, actually. Chelsea just passing the ball around at the back of the box. How impressed are you with West Ham this season, says George Willis. They're doing very, very good considering David Moyes is their manager. He's almost got back to his Everton form, hasn't he, where he's at an unfashionable club, knocking on the top six. So well done. He's doing a great job. Drogba and Hazard would be, considered. I'd still say that Lampard's probably your biggest legend, though, because he did it for so long. But, he scored so many goals for you as well over such a long period of time. But Tammy Abraham, when he was on loan in the Championship, I can't remember where. Was he on loan at Swansea or something? No, he was on loan at Villa, wasn't he? I think he probably was on loan at Swansea as well. But he was on loan at Villa. And, I think Tammy Abraham in the Championship would score 30 goals. Is he a Premier League striker? I think he probably is. Is he a top 4 striker? I don't think so. I think Chelsea, Leicester are coming away here. They've got a 3v4. Good header away by Thiago Silva. Leicester's game plan is very good at the moment. I just don't think Tammy Abraham is a top 6 striker. I think he's a bench player for someone like Chelsea, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. I don't think he's a starter. I don't think he's and I think every Chelsea fan knows that. If you want to win a Premier League title, I don't think you're going to win it with Tammy Abraham as your number 9. That's what I'm saying. So, and did he score the goal, Peter Miller? Right, here is Tammy Abraham. He can sit me down now. Nope, he has to hold it up, and he's offside anyway. He's not bad. What I'm saying is Tammy Abraham's not bad. He's just not. He's not a first team striker for Chelsea, is he? He'd do well for Southampton, says Banjola. Well, they've got Danny Ings for that, but I know what you mean. Yeah. Newcastle level, says LP. Opinions on Reece James. I really like Reece James, Charlie Dykes. I really do like Reece James. I think that for me, Reece James is closer to Trent Alexander-Arnold when it comes to the best right back in the league than Wan-Bissaka is. I mean, Wan-Bissaka's a brilliant defensive right back on his day, but I think Reece James going forward and defensively is quite good. Decent shot there from Albrighton, and Mendy has to tip it over for a corner. I don't know why he did that. He looks a bit shaky tonight, Mendy. Straight at him. I suppose it's a bit high for him. He's got to palm it over, to be fair. Leicester are top of the league at the moment. They are. Yazid says that Lampard is a tinker man, just like Solskjaer, but it's not working for Lampard. Yeah, because I think Lampard's got too many players. Cross comes in, headed away by Tammy Abraham. Leicester going to be very happy with this first 25 minutes. Thiago Silva's very good in the air, you know. Oh. Good tackle. Chilwell had to make it. Hi, Mark. Edgbaston 2005 or Headingley 2009, says the experienced noob. I'd go 2005 because I think that was just, that was the first time we'd won the Ashes, wasn't it? It was amazing with Flintoff and all that lot. After the summer, United fans have done that one from Oscar Coleman as well. Who will be the Chelsea manager if they sack Lampard then? There's a question for you. Who will it be? Corner coming in here for Leicester. Another corner for them. Comes in. Maddison. Ooh. To be fair, Chelsea. What's one thing Chelsea are very good at is they're good in the air from set pieces, both offensively and defensively. And Diddy's having a good game. He's got the goal. Nice little roll into Ndidi. He's playing really well. Really well. I think it's a bit of a tactical risk by Lampard, playing Kovacic as the only real defensive midfielder against a team like Leicester. Who would be the replacement for Lampard? Tuchel? Would Tuchel be the one? Off the top of my head, I've not really played a lot of attention to it. Hasenhüttl would be a very good manager if you could get him from... the thing about Chelsea is don't think about managers that are currently available, because Chelsea, maybe they did buy too many players in the summer, but they are very good at getting... and they will back their next manager as well. I mean, Lampard's been backed. He can't say he's not been backed. He has been backed. He will, and they do get backed at the club. So, but it'd be interesting. Maybe they'll get Gus Hiddink to come and do the job for a few months again. He's probably about 90 now, Hiddink, isn't he? A lovely run here. Harvey Barnes wins a free kick, and Havertz will get booked. Did you ever think when Sir Alex Ferguson retired that United would be challenging with Leicester for the league? Would love Villa to be where they are, says Oliver Green. If Villa win all their games in hand, they'll be right up there, won't they? But I think hopefully their momentum hasn't gone from playing all these games that they've played. But we will see. We will see, of course. So another free kick here for Leicester to whip one in. Mark, do you know of India's amazing win versus Australia? Says Sid T. Now, I've only been told about it about 30 times today, but they did very well. Fair play. Another header won by Chelsea. To be fair, James Maddison puts a lot of good balls into the box. Timo Werner. I'd love Werner to come on and score a hat-trick. I know Chelsea are rivals of Manchester United, but I just like Timo Werner. The funny thing is, I might get some things right, but I get some things really wrong, and I think we all do. You know what my prediction for top goal scorer in the Premier League was this year? Timo Werner. Because I just thought, and I've got no qualms about being wrong about this. I looked at Chelsea last year. The reason they finished fourth is because they lost a lot of games, but they created so many chances, and I was like, Timo Werner, all those chances, he's going to score loads. But you know what? I keep saying this every time I watch Chelsea. How many chances have they had in the first half an hour? None. They've created nothing. They don't create any chances anymore. Last season they used to create loads. Now they don't. I know it's unlikely, but we all overlooked Leicester once before for the league. Also, as a Burnley fan, I'd take Giroud. Giroud would be brilliant for Burnley, Jack Dylan Nolan. I just don't know whether he'd do it. But another corner coming in for Leicester here. And I think if Chelsea go 2-0 down, their heads go down as well. Cross comes in. No, he's gone short again. Now it comes to the back post. And Mendy gets hold of it. Yeah, they just don't create any chances, Chelsea. What's Schmeichel doing there? He's miles out. He's nearly on the halfway line. Yeah, it's been poor from Chelsea, to be fair. This has been very, very poor from Chelsea. We're 100 away from 10,000 watching. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. I don't know what we're doing. I know we're on the road to 300k, but I've got no idea what we are subscribers wise. We're currently 300 away from 297,000. So please subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Let's see if we can get to 297,000. We're sort of en route for 300k by the end of the month. Bottom right hand corner to subscribe. Everybody's welcome on here. It's not the United stand. I do all sorts of watch-alongs on here, so everybody's welcome. As long as you're respectful to each other, the football chat is wide open. What top 6 team do you least enjoy watching, Pedro? What a good question, and everyone else answer that one. I'm interested. But wait a minute, Chelsea got a 4v3. It's got to be a goal, Hudson-Odoi. Side netting. I thought he'd scored. That's got to be a goal, mate. And I think you've made the wrong decision. You should have gone back post. Pulisic does everything right. Gets it back from Havertz. It's a lovely ball by Havertz. Pulisic, it's a 4v3. He feeds Hudson-Odoi. Nah, to be fair to Hudson-Odoi, I don't think the cross to the back post is on. But his shot's wrong. You've got to go across the goal there. If he goes across the goal there and Schmeichel makes a save, he might palm it out to Pulisic. If you go near post and miss, it's a goal kick. So that's just bad decisions there from Hudson-Odoi. Always shoot across the goal in that situation if you're an up-and-coming player. Because if Schmeichel makes a save and palms it out, there's a follow-up ball. If you go near post, it's a goal kick. Reece James is very good. I remember him watching him playing for Wigan at central midfield. Callum Turner. Yeah, I really do like Reece James. I really do like him. What was I going to say? Who's the most boring team in the top 6? Well, we can't choose Arsenal because they're not even in the top 10. Well, they technically are, aren't they? But who is in the top 6? I don't even know who's in the top 6 at the moment. So Everton, Tottenham, Liverpool, Man City, Man United, Leicester. Well, obviously I'm not going to say Man United. Man City are entertaining. Liverpool are entertaining. So I'd say it's Spurs or Everton. I mean, when Mourinho lets Spurs off their lead, they're an entertaining side. I think Son and Kane this season at times have been devastating. It's when they score and he sits back, they're boring. So, I mean, Everton are not that entertaining either. Oh, ball in behind. He's in. Who is it? Vardy. Mendy. And it's cleared it. He wasn't decisive there, Vardy. He probably should have scored. He went for the chip, and I think he should have blasted it low at the feet. So we had 2 chances there, Hudson-Odoi and Vardy. And he didn't, he should have scored there. You look like Shane McGowan from the Pogues, says Sally O'Shea. Thanks very much, Sally, and goodbye. And Diddy's been pure class, says Paloco. And Spurs are so boring, they beat United 1-6. I didn't say they were boring, did I? I just said that he sometimes doesn't let them off the lead. Nice ball out wide. Interesting cross. Tammy Abraham should keep it in. Super chat from Jude Brown. Wait a minute. Cross comes in again. Game's starting to get stretched a little bit here. What's your opinion on Antonio? He's underrated in my opinion from a lot of the fans. He's very important for West. Antonio is a fantastic player, Jude. Exactly. A very, 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 very good player. Chelsea poor, says Hughesy67. Vardy would have actually been offside, thanks, on that chance there. Mark, what's a good result for us and prediction for City game as well as United, said Red Cosmos Devil. I think United will beat Fulham 3-1. I think City will beat Villa 3-1. And I think this game will, unfortunately, I think this game will lead to Lampard's sack. Unless, I just don't see Chelsea winning this game now. I think they had to score first. I mean, it's not impossible. I'd be very impressed if Chelsea did win from this situation. But it's not like Leicester are winning undeservedly. It's a very equal game and they're 1-0 up. And I just don't think that Chelsea create enough chances. I really don't. And if they were to lose this game, I mean, they could technically be... They could be 9th place if they're not careful. Well, no, they won't because Southampton aren't playing, are they? Because they're playing their cup game. So they'll hold on to 8th. But, you know, if they lose to Leicester, they'll be 9 points behind Leicester. And that you might say, well, you know, we're not 9 points behind Liverpool. But you're not catching Liverpool and Man City, are you? You're probably not going to catch United. It's Leicester you need to catch. They've just beat you and they're 9 points clear. You can turn that around, of course you can. But are they in the form to do it? I think Chelsea are... In some ways, you can understand why Lampard would be sacked if he loses this, because it's all right saying we're going to buy Haaland. Well, all Haaland's going to do is win you the Europa League. You know, you will not be in the Champions League next year. I suppose the question is, does Abramovich and Chelsea think, let's see what he does in the Champions League? But they're just so there's just no fluidity to Chelsea, none at all. It's and you're not going to get that when you change your team every week. I think if Timo Werner had gone... Alex says, do you think United dodged a bullet not getting Timo Werner? I think if Timo Werner had gone to Liverpool, he would have been a superstar. I still think he can be a superstar for Chelsea. I really rate the player. I think he's a good player. I just think his confidence is on the floor. I still think he's a good player. I do like Timo Werner. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he will be a flop, but I do think he's a good player. Sheikh says, I started a FIFA 21 career mode with Man United. First thing I did, sell Maguire, but the best thing is being asked to make Bruno the captain by the assistant manager. There you go. If you know, you know. And the Haaland rumour to Chelsea makes no sense, in my opinion. I think it does, Liam. I think it's about money, isn't it? Penalty to Chelsea. He's given it. He's given the penalty. They're going to check it on VAR, but I think Johnny Evans knows. Pulisic, penalty, Pulisic. Let's have a look. It looked like a penalty. Could be a bloody godsend for Chelsea. I think Johnny Evans wins the ball. I don't think it will be a penalty. Oh, no, he doesn't win the ball. So is he in the box? Oh, it might be outside the box. But remember, we've had these before. Lovely bit of skill by Pulisic. That's not in the box. It's outside the box. Outside the box. If you're touching the line, is it a penalty? Free kick. Yeah. I don't know the rule because we had this before. Wasn't there? What was the game when we were arguing about that one before, where it looked like the foul had happened outside the box? But it's a free kick outside the box. Still a very good situation. I mean, it's right on the line. It's not central. Reece James can hit these, but what you're looking for here is a bit of artistry. You know, maybe a Havertz, maybe a Mason Mount. Maybe a Chilwell. I think Tammy Abraham quite fancies it. Very good position for a free kick, this for Chelsea. I personally would like a right footer on this. Mason Mount whipping it into the top corner. That would be my preference. They might try something clever. Might try and dink it over. And look, Mason Mount, he's turned me around. Not in that way. I don't fancy him or anything like that. I'm never going to fancy men. It's just not the way I go, and all respect to people who do go that way. But in relation to his footballing ability, I think Mason Mount, I always wondered what he was all about, and I think he's really shown a lot. He's been Chelsea's best player this season. Free kick, he puts it over the bar. I've just jinxed him, but there you go. Over the bar from Mason Mount. Chelsea will be pissed off with that. Perfect time to get 1-1. It's not a good free kick either. He's not even gone for the corner. He's aimed that free kick right. It's miles over and it's in the line of the keeper. It's not a very good free kick. But Chelsea will be pissed off with that because lovely bit of skill by Pulisic, Megs Johnny Evans, and it's literally half a yard from being a penalty. And the skill move by Pulisic deserves a penalty, but it's not in the right area, is it? So, would have been a lovely time for Chelsea to equalise right before half-time. I'm not going to say they deserved the penalty. I just think it's one of those where it was a little bit unlucky. Nice ball over the top. Vardy. 2-0. It's 2-0 to Leicester. And when it rains, it pours. And it's James Maddison with the slide. And Vardy, who went down. But Maddison makes it 2-0. And oh my days, Lampard, get your coat. You've been sacked. I think Lampard's on his way out. It's 2-0. And Lampard won't believe this. I suppose the only thing is there any hint of an offside? Let's watch. No, not at all. No, it's a goal. It's a goal. It's a long ball over the top. Zuma wins that. It's not Zuma, is it? I didn't think Zuma was playing. I thought Rudiger was playing today. It could have been a penalty on... To be honest, it's a lovely ball forward towards Vardy. And to me, it looks like it might have been a foul on Vardy. But it drops to Maddison and he scores and it's 2-0. And it's Maddison again. And I'm sure the BBC have got the team wrong. (2-0). Lampard. It's looking like it's over. Let me just change the score. It was Rudiger who did the header. I think it might have been a penalty. I thought Rudiger might have fouled Vardy anyway, but Maddison's there to take away the controversy. I don't see Chelsea coming back now. And look, you know what? Subscribe. That's football, because that's football. It is, isn't it? It could have been it wasn't a Chelsea penalty. I'm not saying it was, but it could have been a penalty. They could have been 1-1, and then poor free kick from Mason Mount. They go up the other end. Going for Goldbridge this week. Have to hear who's pissed you off this week. What's John been up to? Yeah, Lallana's in pyjamas. Recorded it tonight, so it will be going up. It's a bit of a Jerry Maguire sort of mission statement, actually, about the industry I work in. So could be quite a few people who get a bit pissed off by that, but so what? Nothing's new. So 2 minutes to go to half time. Zuma's on the bench. It's not Zuma playing today. I don't know. What do you do? What do you do if you're Lampard? What do you do if you're Lampard? They could get a draw out of this, and it'd be a very good draw, but they're just not creating chances again. Like, where are the chances for the striker? I mean, look, whatever you think about Tammy Abraham, where are the chances for the strikers? They're just not there. And it's going to take a massive effort by Chelsea. But you know what? I said it before the game kicked off. These players... They're as social media savvy as you are. They know what's going on in the media. They know Lampard might be about to go. And maybe some of them are like, you know what? I want him to go. Chilwell with the cross. Good header away. It's very late by Tammy Abraham on Fofana. And it will go out for a foul. Would you sack Lampard if they lose this game? I suppose that's the most relevant question. Would you sack him? We're 200 subscribers away from 297, so please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Lampard should resign at half-time, says Matthew Firth. Hi, Mark, I'm a Wolves fan. What's your actual thoughts? Says Jack's Gardening and Mowing Service. On Wolves, I think that you're struggling, aren't you? Because you haven't got Jimenez. Yeah. I think you are. But would I sack Lampard? A lot of people are saying it's time to go. Yes. It's a really difficult one. And I think when it's a difficult one, which way do you swing? I think that I don't really want him to be sacked. I think that, I like the idea of Chelsea having Lampard as the manager and, the romance of it. But I just feel that the summer was a bad idea. I think that they bought too many players. And I think he changes it around too much as well. It's like Havertz has a bad game, so I'm not going to pick him the next game. Ziyech has a bad game, I'm not going to pick him the next game. And you can't be like that. You've got to give him a run. There's no doubt in my mind that Ziyech is a Premier League quality player. All right, he didn't play well against Fulham, but pick him tonight. Stop dropping players after one game. I think that's the problem. And that's a reason to sack him. I agree, but I wouldn't sack him. I wouldn't do that, to be honest. Do you still believe Werner will get top scorer? Says Bill. Well, I've not really heard of a decent alternative to Lampard. I mean, I don't know who the favourite is to take the job. I don't really rate Tuchel, so I think if you were going to get the Southampton coach, I think that would be good. The trouble is, would he want the job knowing that he will be sacked in 2 years? Because Abramovich will sack anybody, won't he? So. Yeah, I mean, Allegri's a good shout, but Allegri's a very good shout. Chelsea have got those Italian connections, but I don't know. I don't know about Allegri. I don't know whether he'd be good at Chelsea. It's a difficult one, and I think he might be good because they've had Conte, they've had Ancelotti, they've had Sarri. They've got good history with Chelsea, with Ranieri as well, Italian coaches. So it does make a lot of sense to go with Allegri. But I think it's a tough job for whoever takes it on because, as I said, Chelsea have got too many good players. You're going to have to start benching good players. Scott Parker says, Riley Boyd, well, it is half-time. It's half-time and Chelsea are 2-0 down. What are your thoughts on that? We will play a bit of either or because we haven't played that for a while, where basically you just give me two things and I'll tell you. But I'll tell you what, I will tell you. I'll tell you now. And I did say it. So I've been proved right. And I'm sure many of you will agree with me on this one. Those players, they ain't playing for that manager. And that's probably the biggest reason that Lampard has to go. Because the players have down tools. It's very, very clear to me that those players are not playing for that badge. And they are not playing for that manager. And that's always the thing. There'll be Chelsea fans out there. Look, he's lost the players. It's time to go. But it always pisses me off. It always pisses me off. No matter who the manager is. I had this at United with Mourinho. I wanted Mourinho to be sacked. But I didn't like the way some of the players delivered that. Because when you don't play for the manager, you don't play for the badge. And when you don't play for the badge, you don't play for the fans. And whatever you think about Lampard, those players should be doing better in that game. And I saw it against Fulham at the weekend. For the quality that they've got, it's a shit show. Like they've got real quality in that team. Even tonight, there's real quality. Against Fulham, there was real quality. They've got real quality in that team. They were playing a lot better in November and October. December, they were crap. And this month, they're heading the same way again. Because those players, they've turned on that manager. That's what they've done. And if I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be pissed off with that. And I don't necessarily think that those problems will get solved by a new coach, because he's still going to have to bench some players. But I think where Lampard's gone wrong and this is only my opinion, where he's gone wrong, he's tinkered with that team too much. As I said, Ziyech played against Fulham. He doesn't play today. You know, Hudson-Odoi will play today. They'll lose. And if he's still in a job at the weekend, he won't play Hudson-Odoi. At some point, you've got to stick with your players, put an arm around them and say, you're my man. Come on, let's go for it. And I think that, you know, he can't keep changing his team all the time. And that's probably been one of the costly things. Because it's very difficult for Chelsea fans to get behind a manager when you don't know what your best 11 is. We've had it at United with Ollie. Like, he changes his team a lot. And you're like, when the results aren't good, you're like, it's the biggest stick to hit them with. You change your team all the time. No wonder you're losing. It's fine when you're winning. But when you're losing, it's a stick to beat you with. And I think it's been a big problem for them. Mark, would you take Fofana at United as Connor Walker? I think Fofana's a very good player for Leicester. They did pay a lot of money for him though. It's not like, oh, Leicester, do you want 30 million? Yeah, that's what we paid for him last summer. Piss off. And the same with Ndidi. I think Ndidi's run that game. But I also think Lampard got it wrong with the team he selected. I think Kovacic, Mount and Havertz, you're going to get dominated in the midfield against, you know, Tielemans, Maddison and Ndidi. And, you know, Kovacic is not defensive enough to be able to run that on his own. He needs somebody with him. So, you know, Chelsea have struggled in that sense. And Ndidi's had a very good game. City treble or Liverpool unbeaten season, says Alex Davies. Liverpool can have the unbeaten season because that's Arsenal's record. The treble's ours. Oi oi. Fofana is only 20. Scary how good he is, says SD. I think it's scary how good Leicester's recruitment is, their scouting is, their director of football, whatever they've got, it's fantastic. Would Sarri have been a better choice than Lampard, says Oi Oi? Well, they've already been there, haven't they? I mean, look, whatever you think about Chelsea, Abramovich will sack a manager. They sack managers very, very quickly. I think they should have stayed with Ancelotti longer than they did. The issue is, if you sack Lampard after a year and a bit, or a year and a half, you'll sack anybody after a year. And that's where Chelsea head next. You know, if you can't be patient, whether it's justified patience or not, if you can't give Lampard to two seasons, you're never going to give anybody 2 seasons, are you? And that's the danger. But, on the other hand, look at that squad. It's still arguably the best squad in Europe, apart from probably PSG and Bayern Munich. It's an amazing squad, and it's massively underperforming. Chelsea comeback second half. United to stay top, says Kachin. I'd love a Chelsea comeback because United would stay top, like you say. But you know, we'll be top again tomorrow. It's not like Leicester are going to take our spot for good. We need to win, don't we? So please subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We have got 11,000 watching, and I'm sure you're not all new. So I'm sure some of you are new. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. We are 150 subscribers away from 297,000 on the road to 300k. If you are new or you don't know what this channel is all about, you're very, very welcome. Everybody's welcome. That's why I say it. It doesn't matter what club you support. We'll even let Arsenal fans get involved, as Zane will testify. This is just a channel where a Manchester United fan or an Arsenal fan or a Chelsea fan or whatever can come and watch a game and interact with people. And that's what we are on this channel. So you're very, very welcome. And I mean, look, what we haven't spoken enough about, in fairness, is Leicester. You know, it's always about the bigger team, isn't it? And as we know, Leicester are not the big team, but it always makes me laugh. I mean, where do you sit on Leicester? What are Leicester now? Are they a traditional top 6 club now? You know, they've won a title in the last 6 years, which is something United, Arsenal, Spurs haven't done. They've won a title in the last 6 years. They've finished in the top 6 how many times in the last 5 years? They're top of the league now, halfway through the season. Are Leicester now a traditional top 6 club? And do they take the place of an Arsenal now, who are not? I would say probably not, because the traditional top 6 is something really hard to move away from, because obviously Arsenal are a very big club and they've got a lot of hype around them because they are a big traditional club. But Leicester on the pitch have been fantastic. 247 million in 2020. Lampard must be PE teacher now, says Victor Liang. I just think he's lost it, hasn't he? He's lost the players, and that is the problem. He has lost the players. I think Chelsea last season, as I said, I predicted Here we go. I predicted that Timo Werner would win the Golden Boot in the Premier League because I watched Chelsea last season and their problem was conceding goals, but scoring goals they struggled with a little bit, but they created so many. I was like, put a good number 9 in that Chelsea team, they're going to win a load of games. They put a good number 9 in the team. He's struggling, but they're not creating any chances. They're not the same Chelsea as they were last year. If this was Lampard's first year, you'd say he ain't good enough. But if you watched Chelsea last year, or you watched him coach Derby, you can see what he wants to do. I used to say this as a Man United manager. I'd say the problem with Solskjaer is I look at Solskjaer and I look at Lampard and I see a definitive pattern of play with the way that Chelsea play. And with Solskjaer, he's a back five, he's a diamond, he's a sit back, he's a press high, he's all over the shop. But with Lampard, he had a definitive way of playing, and this season it's just disappeared. And I can't put my finger on it, apart from the fact I think he's had too many players. Too many players, created too many problems, which is, if you've got so many good players, you're almost obliged to go, you had your chance, you're out, now it's your chance. Ziyech, you played shit against Fulham, you're benched, off you go, Hudson-Odoi. Jorginho, you were shit, go and have a go, Havertz. Giroud, you were shit. Werner, you're shit. Abraham, you can start. Abraham, you're shit. Now it's Werner's chance. When really what he needs to do is have less good players and more faith in players to give them a run of games. And he's not doing that, is he? Because he's always having to change it. Hi Mark, I bet my mate 50 quid after the 6-1 that United would finish above Spurs this season. So what should I spend the £50 on? Says Marley R. Well, it's not done yet, mate, but you're looking good for that. Remember, because we're on this channel, remember when I do my FIFA career mode on here, which will be back again tomorrow afternoon, by the way, but that's not what I was plugging. What I was going to say is that, can you remember that FIFA career mode season I did when right at the start of the season I lost 6-1 to Spurs at home and I won the league that year? I mean, it's not really history repeating itself. It's basically Goldbridge played a game of FIFA and lost 6-1 to Spurs and won the league, and then United did it in real life. So I'm not saying it's repeating anything, but it could happen. Rodgers is such an underrated manager. Just shows you don't have to spend loads of money to be top 4, says Ginger Fury. Would you take Odegaard? Ollie would want him, says Victor Liang. Yes, I would. And London clubs helping each other, losing against Arsenal to avoid them from relegation, and now losing to meet Arsenal down the table. Comedy FC, says Shake. You know on Brendan Rodgers, you know on Brendan Rodgers, what I would say is this. I'd say this about Brendan Rodgers. He's Northern Irish, so he is. But I would say this about Brendan Rodgers. Last season, when we went into lockdown, United were quite a lot of points behind Leicester in the top 4. And I said, Leicester will bottle it, United will catch them. And we did. And they didn't finish in the top 4, and they ended up in the Europa League. This season, Leicester have really impressed me because that was a blow for them. They had a lot of injuries, they bottled it, and they couldn't win. And this year, they've come back at it again. And, that to me shows a good manager with good players. So I think Brendan Rodgers does deserve some credit. Whether they'll bottle it again or not, I don't know. Cute Hoodie, says Blake Rowe. Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let's see if we can get to 297,000. But I just think that, Leicester will have that problem of the Champions League like everybody else. So Sam Morgan says we're not doing the dance. And Rodgers has lamps in his pocket, says Eamon Kelly. Can Chelsea get back into this game in the second half? And that's the big question. I think 2-0 is a dangerous score. I think Chelsea can get back into this game. Do I think they will? I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that. But they could do. They could get back into it. 2-0 is the old cliche score, isn't it? I used to hate playing football and being 2-0 up. I mean, I preferred it being 0-0. I preferred it than being 0-0. But 2-0 at half-time is always a dangerous score because if they come out, play well and they get one back, the momentum's with them to get the second goal. So, and also 2-0, you don't want to be too gung-ho going for the third goal. You want to sort of defend what you've got. So, Chelsea can definitely get back into this game is what I'm saying. Do I think they will? No. What I'd love to see is Timo Werner come on and get a brace and it be a 2-2 draw because that would be a good result for Manchester United. But I do think that, in my opinion, Lampard's gone if he loses this game. I think if he draws it, he might have been gone anyway. So in these circumstances, if he gets a draw, he might survive. But I think if he loses it, he's gone. Especially when you look at what Chelsea's next few games are, and I always like to look at that. I mean, we're going to look at Leicester's as well, but just before the second half kicks off, Chelsea's next game is obviously going to be the FA Cup. Don't know why it's taken me to Formula 1, by the way. Let's have a look. Scores and fixtures. So January fixtures for Chelsea. They're losing 2-0 at the moment. They've got Luton in the Cup, blah-de-blah. Then they've got Wolves at home next Wednesday, which somebody actually did say in the first half. And then Burnley at home. So, you can look at that two ways. There's 6 points for Chelsea there that you would expect them to get. I mean, well, Wolves won't be easy, but you would expect them to beat Burnley and Wolves at home. And then after that, they've got Spurs, which is a massive game again. So do you look at that from Chelsea's point of view and say, if we get a new manager in who starts playing a right 11 and gets these players playing well, he gets 6 points in his first two games ahead of that massive game against Spurs, which if he wins, who knows, we could get into a race for top four again, considering we've got Sheffield United and Newcastle ahead of Southampton and Manchester United before Atletico Madrid. You could see why Chelsea would sack Lampard if he loses today, because it gives the new manager a little bit of time to adjust before the Champions League and the big game against Spurs and United in February. So you can see why that's on the agenda. Personally, I wouldn't do it. Personally, I think Lampard can still be a decent Chelsea manager. He was last year. But on the other hand, if the players have down tools, which I think they have, I think that's a betrayal of the fans, even though a lot of fans never see it as that. Leicester would be top if they win this game, in a very, very strong position. Their next few games after the FA Cup, Everton away next Wednesday, which is a very, very good game in itself. And then they've got Leeds on the Sunday, which I think would be a good game as well. And then they've got Fulham. So, it's always, you've always got, if you're West Ham and if you're Leicester, you've always got a difficult game because you're not a traditional top six side. So any game for them could be perceived to be a difficult game. They're doing very, very well, Leicester, and they certainly deserve to be 2-0 up at half-time. I don't think anybody would moan with that. I don't think they would. Thanks for the super chats. We've got a couple here. Lampard spent 200 million just to be mid-table. That alone is sack-worthy, says James Pullen. And Jimmy Ladd says we need to keep winning games, down to second now, obviously with a game in hand, but City have two. There's more than just two teams that are a threat to us. Yeah, well, look, you know what? As a team that technically is top of the league, won't be top of the league if Leicester win, not top of the league now. But as a team that's at the top, Manchester United, players are coming back out second half. As a team that is at the top, you got to win. We got to keep winning. And that's why I know that Chelsea need to win, because I know as a United fan at the top, we need to keep winning. One, to stay in the title race, and two, because there's a chasing pack, whether that's Everton, West Ham, Spurs, Leicester. There are teams trying to catch us. And that's why when you're already behind, as Chelsea are, you can't afford to keep losing ground. So, yeah, Fulham will beat you tomorrow, says Joe's film. Hey, look, Fulham, much improved. I think United will win, but they're much improved. I will be doing a watch-along on the United stand for that tomorrow night. Anyway, Leicester about to kick off the second half and do. 45 minutes to go to the full-time and maybe full-time on Frank Lampard's career at Manchester United. So what do you got, Frank? What do you got? I'm gonna just keep saying that all half. What do you got, Frank? What has he got? We'll see. No changes for either side. Some might say that's a bit of surprise. Some might say. How's my fantasy Premier League team doing, FPL Fozzie? God knows, because I haven't changed it in about 8 weeks. I mean, it has still got Son and Kane in it, and Bruno, and Traore and Foden. So it's probably not doing that well, to be fair. Broken King is hungry. I had a lovely curry tonight. Would you take Harvey Barnes at United, says Finley? I would. I would. I mean, bloody hell. I mean, I don't know whether he'd actually start for United. I think that would be a more relevant question. I'd throw it to everybody. I do think that I'd take him at United, though, because I think coming off the bench, he'd be a very valuable player on that left-hand side. He's a very creative player as well. Score a goal, but I think he's unlike Rashford or Greenwood. You know, I think their first thought is to score. I think Harvey Barnes can score, but his first thought is to try and create things for his striker, which is what I think your job is as a winger. You know, your number 9 is your priority. Would you take Tomori? Big up from Norway, says Sam. I do like Sam. I do like Tomori at Chelsea from what I've seen of him, but he's off to AC Milan. Chelsea wouldn't sell him as anyway, and we wouldn't be looking at him. So, but I do like him. Good player, very good player. With a lot of potential, just not managed to get his way into the Chelsea side, has he? Bit more energy from Chelsea in this half. 80 subscribers away from 297,000. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Our next watch-along on here is going to be Thursday night. Also a 8:15 kick-off, Liverpool against Burnley. Looking forward to that one. Can Burnley score a goal? Can Liverpool score a goal, actually? I'm going to tell you what the next few watch-alongs are. If it's not a watch-along, it'll be FIFA Career Mode, which is back tomorrow, because I'll be doing United Stand match on United Fulham. But Premier League score and fixtures. Let's have a quick look at what's going on. So the January fixtures, obviously we've got Man City Villa tomorrow night. I will be watching that, but I'll be on the United Stand while the team news comes in. Liverpool Burnley on Thursday, which we're going to do. Villa are playing Newcastle on Saturday night. It's a good chance for Villa to win a few points. I take it Villa are not in the FA Cup anymore because they got beat by Liverpool, didn't they? Wait a minute. Harvey Barnes, decent cross, cleared away by Thiago. Next Tuesday and Wednesday, there are more Premier League games. Wait a minute. Justin's got it on the left-hand side for Leicester. There could be something going on here. Mr. Pink Boots, Maddison, into Tillemans, gets it wide. Lovely little play, Leicester here. Cross comes into the back post. Justin! Oh, he's got to score. He's got to score. It's a delightful cross from Castagnier. And Justin is unmarked, the left back for Leicester, on the back. It's lovely the way Leicester play this. They play it from one side to the other. It's laid off. I think it's actually all Brighton who whips the cross in. And Justin, I mean, it's not an easy header, but he probably should score it. Should have been 3-0 Leicester and should have been game over. Confident build-up play by Leicester there. But yeah, next week we have got a week of game. Lovely ball there by Reece James into Tammy Abraham. And Fofana. Oh, I like Fofana. He's a player, isn't he? So yeah, midweek next week, we've got next Tuesday, Southampton Arsenal. I'll probably do that as a watch along because I think Southampton might win that, and I always like to watch them lose. And then on Wednesday, Man United are playing Sheffield United, so I'll be doing that. Thursday, we'll be doing that, Tottenham against Liverpool on this channel. So there's a few watch alongs to come. The following Saturday, another load of games. Arsenal play United at 5:30. That'll be on the United Stand. And on the Sunday, West Ham Liverpool I think will be an interesting game, and Leicester against Leeds. So lots and lots of good games coming up now. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Tammy Abraham just headed the corner straight at the keeper. Probably should have done a little bit better. Hi Mark, not one of the new Chelsea signings have made an impact, says Dean Goddard. Which one of their new signings would you like to have in our squad? I'd take Werner. I do like Werner. It's going to be a yellow card for Kovacic here. He's gone through the back of Maddison. And Mark, watch along for the NFL NFC Championship game between the Bucks and the Packers this Sunday, says Cody. Would anybody watch that? I might do it. Do we actually want the Buccaneers to win? I know the Glazers own them, but do we want... We don't like the Glazers, do we? I do like Tom Brady, though. I've got a positive agenda with Timo Werner. It's a bit like Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. I think there's good in him. Grow a beard, Mark, says Kareem. I've literally just had a shave today. It was getting a bit messy, so I've had a shave. It was just starting... You know when you go like that with your lip and it's a bit long and it's irritating your nose. It was time to have a little bit of a shave. I didn't have a clean shave though. Just shows when there is pressure, Ollie performs and Frank crumbles, says Tantan. Also, does God answer prayers? I'm not God, Tantan. I don't want to go down that road again. There is a going for Goldbridge this week. I just don't know whether I'm putting it up yet. It really, if you've ever seen the film Jerry Maguire, he's a sports agent and he basically writes this mission statement on what's wrong with the industry. And going for Goldbridge today sort of turned into that for me and the fan channel community. So I don't really know whether I should put it out. And everyone will say, yeah, put it out. But I mean, look, it was how I feel. I was talking about like what I said when I was playing FIFA the other day about me stopping doing the United Stand is going to be sooner than people think. So I sort of was answering that and it went into that. So I don't know. I don't know whether it's for public consumption, whether it's just a bit of therapy for me. But anyway, Chelsea need a bit of therapy. They need a bit of 2-2 therapy. I can't see them winning this game. I really can't see them scoring 3 goals without reply. But I do think they could get a draw. If they can get the first goal, I do think they can. What do you think of German-style fan ownership, says Alex Davies. I'm all for it. I like it. I would without doubt watch an NFL watch-along, says Croggy. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Cross comes in, good cross, and it's Fofana again. Fantastic header. And it's a really decent cross that comes in from Chelsea here. Reece James whips it in, and Fofana's basically on the penalty spot, and he jumps under it and gets height and power to head it for a corner. He's a fantastic player, Fofana. And, you know, is it any wonder we're princes and kings? All clowns are capers and the sawdust rings. Ordinary people that are like you and me. Oh, they're keepers of our destiny. Classic Oasis. Not really classic Oasis, it's just a song I like. But is it any wonder that Leicester are at the top of the league when they've got Maddison playing really well? They've got Ndidi, or we all know who is really good anyway. They've got Fofana, Vardy, Tielemans, Harvey Barnes, Johnny Evans is steady. You've got Sionku on the bench. They're just a very good side. Look at the way they pass the ball about. He's offside. But they're just a very good side. Schmeichel in goal. They've just got so many good players and a good coach. Put some respect on Leicester's name, really. Yeah, he's miles offside there. Super chat here from Karim. He says, does this mean you're going to stop all your watch-alongs or just United Stand? I haven't said that. Look, I'm going to have to watch this video, see if it makes any sense and put it out. It sort of needs a proper explanation. And I don't want people to think that I'm not doing the United Stand anymore, because that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just saying that there are things that well, there's things to be said. There's things to be said, basically. It's not anything that I'd say is going to happen immediately, but it's certainly something that I've been thinking about for quite a while. But Leicester kicked Arsenal out of the top 6, says Ready HD. And excited for Six Nations. I think it will be competitive, says Shaka Phillips. This could be 3-0. Tielemans, good save Mendy with his feet. Leicester have been on fire this second half. They've been passing the ball around superbly. Now it's Maddison. And it's a throw-in. But Tielemans there. Good save by Mendy with his feet. But this is the contrast I'm talking to you about. Leicester creating so many chances, Chelsea creating nothing. Absolutely nothing. And, you know, you just can't see a way back. It's attack against defence. Karim, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, I love your watch-alongs. That's why I asked. And Madison goal, any good, says Zach. Yeah, well, he took it well. I mean, it's a ball over the top and it just landed for him, but he took it first time. Made it look easy, not an easy technique. But yeah, Chelsea very disappointing so far. Not in this game at all. Not creating any chances. And the thing I think is very impressive about Leicester, by the way, is the recruitment, because you know they lose Harry Maguire and they've got Fofana, Sionku, and Johnny Evans. You know, Harry Maguire was a good player for them, of course he was, but have they missed him? No. Fofana with another brilliant clearance, by the way. They sell Chilwell for 50 million, and they've got Castagnier, they've got Justin, who can both play left back and right back, and are doing that tonight. Obviously, they've still got Ricardo Pereira. They're just very, very good at bringing players in and rotating things around, and it's to their credit. But if Chelsea could get one back, to be honest with you, they'd probably, you know, Leicester should maybe have scored the third goal and killed the game. But shoulda, woulda, coulda doesn't matter if Chelsea get that first goal back. Leicester are top of the league. I realise that. They are top of the league at the moment. Leicester, let me just confirm it. They are top of the league. Leicester are top of the league. They've got 38 points at the moment. But remember, they're only a point at the top of the league, and we play tomorrow. So, yeah, we do lose it. We do lose that position. I didn't realise that we, you know, technically could lose it for a day. But it's true. We are not top of the league until we beat Fulham tomorrow, if it stays the same here. Havertz, thoughts on Havertz? No. He's not wreaking havoc at the moment, is he, Havertz? Can you wish my stepsister Angela a happy birthday, as she's a big fan of yours, Mark, says Josh. Happy birthday, Angela. Hope you have a good day. That's from, well, it's from me, but Josh asking for it as well. United will draw tomorrow, says Michael Manning. If we did draw tomorrow, Leicester would stay top of the league because they've got better goal difference. Ball into the box, Tammy Abraham. I think Lampard's going to have to make changes, half an hour to go. I'd get Ziyech on. I don't know why Ziyech's not on. Hello from me to you. Says it's my birthday. Happy birthday. Love from Sweden. Happy birthday, mates. Top 5 left backs in the Premier League, says Porchy. Good question. Well, Robertson's number 1. Reguilon's in there. I'm not putting these in order. I'm just saying the 5. Robertson's number 1, and then I'd have Luke Shaw in there, Reguilon's in there, Tierney's in there, and I don't like Leicester. I don't like Man City's left back. I like Digne. I do like Digne. I'm trying to think. Might kick. Might have to kick one. Who else is in the top 6? Let's have a quick look. Actually, it's a good question. That well done. So, Leicester, maybe. Man City, no. Spurs, Reguilon, obviously. Everton, Digne. Liverpool, Robertson. Man United, Shaw, yes. Chelsea, not Chilwell, forget it. West Ham, no. Southampton, I mean, Bertrand's quite good, but no. Villa, I do like Targay. Best French left-back in the world. Palace, Van Aanholt's not bad. No, yeah, I think I'm happy with that. Robertson, Luke Shaw, Tierney, Digne, and Reguilon would be my top 5. Not in order, Robertson would be number 1, and then argue amongst yourselves, but those 5 would be my top 5. Fofana bringing it out from the back. And he'll win a foul from Pulisic as well. And no, he didn't get the foul. Looked like a foul. I think Fofana's been absolutely fantastic. Chelsea fan, I'm Lampard out. No top 4 for us, says Toby Marks. No substitutions from Chelsea yet either, which is surprising that he's sticking with a team that's not creating chances. I'll tell you what, he's on fire. I've not seen a performance like this in a long time. Is this proof that Ollie's better than Lampard? I mean, you know what? I've sort of grown out of a lot of that. I find it a little bit pointless, really. And it's like Martinelli's better than Greenwood. Saka's better than Rashford. You know, all this bullshit that you get. It's very childish. I mean, you know, Solskjaer's better than Lampard. Well, you know, Klopp's better than Solskjaer. You know, it's obvious because of the success that Klopp's had and the way that they play football. Solskjaer's better than Lampard because of where we are in the league this season, and they've been managers for virtually the same period of time. But football can change around very, very quickly. He's going to make subs. He's going to bring Ziyech and Werner on, and this makes it quite exciting. They're the subs I would make. Can Chelsea get back into it? Thoughts on Cancelo this season, says Ben Walters. I've been very impressed with him, actually, but has he not played mainly at a right back? Tammy isn't top 6 level, top 5 right back. Haha, says Jack Brown 852. Right backs, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I do like Reece James. I wouldn't put an Arsenal or Spurs player in. I don't really think they're that good. So I've got 2, 3. Lamptey would be 3. I like him. I probably would put Cancelo because I think he's really good. 4. And I know he can play at left back, but I think he's been very good when I've seen him, and I think right back's probably his better position. Does Wan-Bissaka make it in? I don't know. Ricardo Pereira doesn't even start for Leicester, so you could say Justin. Arsenal will go ahead of Chelsea if they win, says James Bricknell. No, Arsenal played last night. They've played their game, so they don't get an extra game to go ahead of Chelsea. They've played the same amount of games. Mason Mount's going to come off. Or is he? No. No, he's not. "25 minutes for Lampard to potentially save his job here." You think back to those arguments and he was having with Mourinho and Klopp. He looked very full of himself. Not anymore. We're 10 subscribers away from 297,000. So please subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. To do that. He has been injured, Ricardo Pereira, and when he's back, he's a fantastic player. Left side of the pitch, Chilwell. Ran out of space. Cross comes in. Poor clearance by Johnny Evans. Hudson-Odoi, very quiet game. I hear a lot of Chelsea fans talking about Hudson-Odoi. What's your thoughts on Hudson-Odoi? You know, starting a game today, very, very quiet game. You could argue he's not had loads and loads of the ball, but a quiet game. It's not beyond the realms of possibility for Chelsea to get something out of this game, but I think Hudson-Odoi will be coming off, and Ziyech will be coming on. I think Abraham will come off, or he might keep him on, try and go 2 up front. Steve Ivey says Hudson-Odoi's been invisible. He might become visible now. Gets past his man. Not a terrible cross. But look at the concentration on Schmeichel there. Havertz is jumping with him. Eye on the ball. Eye on the prize. Catches it. And Schmeichel's made a lot of saves look very easy today. He's had to deal with stuff in that box. I think Hudson-Odoi is very good if we had a right winger like that, says Ernie. Well, here's the substitutions for Chelsea. Werner and Ziyech coming on. I guarantee you Hudson-Odoi will be one of them. I just don't know whether he'll take Havertz off and go 2 up front. Hudson-Odoi is off. Who's getting relegated? Hopefully not Brighton, says Alfie Mulholland. I'll take a look at that one, but I do think it will be Sheffield United. I mean, Fulham are much improved. Still a long way to go. Werner's on, and I didn't see who went off. Sorry, I was too busy. Tammy Abraham's still on, so I think it's going to have to be Havertz. Yeah. Havertz off. Hudson-Odoi off. 4-4-2. Yeah, I think Sheffield United will go down. I mean, they're 11 points from safety, so I don't see them coming back from that. And also, they've played 2 more games than Burnley. So, very, very difficult for Sheffield United to come back. West Brom, I think, you know, Allardyce can keep them up, to be honest. They could stay up. And Fulham could stay up as well. I wouldn't like to see Brighton go down. No, I think that they're a good footballing side. You know, Newcastle could get pulled into it. They really could. But Wolves won't go down. So it's really going to be 3 from 6. It'll be 3 from Newcastle, Brighton, Burnley, Fulham and West Brom and Sheffield United. And really, actually, it'll be 2 from 5 because Sheffield United will go down. So 2 from West Brom, Fulham, Burnley, Brighton and Newcastle, in my opinion. And I would like Brighton to stay up. Would I like to see Burnley go down? You know, in a way I wouldn't really, because I think Burnley are just part of the furniture, aren't they? And if Burnley got relegated, that means on FIFA 22 I wouldn't have to play them, which is just a bit of a coward's way out, really. I need to learn to beat them properly. Danny Ings says he wants to move to a Champions League club. Won't sign new contract yet, according to the Telegraph. Any Champions League team you could see him at, says Matt. Thanks for the super chat, Matt. Well, does anybody see Danny Ings at a Champions League club in the Premier League? No, not as a starter. I mean, look, Spurs, Champions League, you're not going to drop Harry Kane. Manchester United, you're not going to not play Cavani. Liverpool, no. Man City, no. So he's not going to play for a champion. Chelsea, no. He's not going to play. He's a very good player, Danny Ings, but he's not going to play first team football for a Champions League club, is he? He's going to be back in the situation he was at Liverpool, where he's not playing. He's on the bench. Why would you ever consider leaving the United stand, as United fans need our daily Goldbridge, says M&K Group? I think this is being blown out of proportion. All I would say is I'm doing a video on my channel, going for Goldbridge, and I'll be talking about it there. But yeah, it's just watch the video. I wouldn't panic. Just watch the video, and it's not like, oh, I'm pretending to go. It's basically a Jerry Maguire mission statement about the industry we work in, all the external factors, all the pressures, all the realities, all the letdowns, all the highs, and just a basically honest opinion on what really goes on and how, you know, it's not the be all and end all. It's not out yet. It'll be out probably on Thursday. So I filmed it tonight. I don't even know whether I'm going to put it up, really. Dortmund got beaten, says Freddie Patterson. Good. Always like to hear Dortmund getting beat, being as they beat United so many times in the transfer market. It's always nice to hear. Yeah, to be honest with you, Max is sort of he's sort of figured it out. Spoiler alert here. He says Mark's actually signed as the new CDM for United, so he can't play. He can't do United stand anymore. Yeah, I'll be taking McTominay's place. So many people hate fan channels. Most live live on Twitter. Wish we could united with our different opinions. Love you, Mark, and the other controversial channels, says HJ. Thanks for the super chat, mate. But, you know, in fairness to people who don't like fan channels on Twitter, a lot of it was started by other fan channels putting out lies, to be fair. You know, call a spade a spade. A lot of the problems that fan channels have is because of people in the industry putting lies out to their friends on Twitter and then moaning about not being liked themselves because they started the whirlwind. So, you know, it's a shit industry, basically. It's a shit industry full of backstabbing, lying twats. And that's basically a summary of the half an hour I talk about in a bit more depth. What do you think about Schalke's situation, says Govand? I know they're going to get relegated. 98, that's all I know. That's all I know. I like this comment from Alex. He says, Chelsea bought in too much this past summer. Those back from loans and academy lads stepped up when they needed them. only to be replaced, which messed up the chemistry. I think you've hit the nail spot on, Alex. And I remember us talking about this right at the start of the season. It was like Chelsea, 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 Chelsea. What an amazing transfer window they've had. They've won the transfer window. And they did win the transfer window, but they bought too many players. That was the issue. And it's come back and bite them. And they just can't get any fluidity and they can't get any chemistry. There's only 20 minutes to go left in this game. I think time's running out for Chelsea, and I do think time is running out for Lampard's career. Here's Reece James, and again a good tackle by Justin. Chelsea fullbacks are kind of trash, says Alistair. They just, you know what it is, Alistair? I can't believe how bad Chelsea are, really. I can't believe it. I can't believe that, I'm going to give some substance to it, because you can't just say, I can't believe how bad they are without actually expanding on that. And what I would say is, I can't believe how bad they are because I've seen how good they are last season. And as I said, they had a defined way of playing last season, and they don't have one this year. There's no fluidity and there's no rhythm. Now, you've got the same coaches and the same manager. Why is it not working? And I think it is as simple as too many good players, can't pick them all every week, has to keep changing it every time somebody has a bad game, never gets any rhythm, the players never get to understand the relationships, so the fluidity isn't there. It's one of the oldest lessons in football that the more players play together, the more patterns and rhythms and identity they get. There is no rhythm and there is no identity. This is why teams like Burnley survive every year. The style of football isn't great, but they know each other perfectly. I remember Ollie saying this about Barnes and Wood up front. They know what each other has for breakfast because they know the runs they're going to make. They know where they're going to lay it off. This Chelsea side, they play like strangers because it's always being changed. There's no rhythm. And also, the biggest thing as well, they're not playing for the manager because they're not happy. So many of those players are not happy. So they're not playing happy, and they're not, it's a mess. Can't wait for the madness to end and for you to come over to the States. Your following is growing here day by day, says Russian Nightmare. Mate, I can't wait myself. I can't wait to start. And I'm sure everybody feels the same, the first step, I think, will be in our country, in the UK, because of the vaccines and everything. Life will get normal in the UK, hopefully in the next 6 to 8 months. I don't know whether we'll be able to go to other countries because it depends on the vaccines and everything in other countries and how quick that happens. But hopefully in the next 18 months, we'll get back to some semblance of normality, definitely. Because, it's made me even, and I'm sure everybody feels the same, it's made me more hungry to travel and see other things when you're just confined and not able to see things. Probably the first 6 months will just be travelling to the pub to get pissed, but I will venture further. I don't think Donny van der Beek will start Man United's next 2 games, Daniel. He might start against Liverpool at the weekend, but I don't think he'll start against Fulham. I just can't see where he would start him. Whatever happens, Mark, with the United stand, you've made being a United fan even better than it is already, says Tommy Kelly. Thanks for the super chat, mate. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. That's football. Got lots and lots planned over the next year or so on this channel, calendar year. Obviously with the Euros coming up as well. My life is complete. You liked my comment on the Going for Goldbridge question on Twitter earlier, says Ewan Black. Thank you very much, mate. Thank you very much. And do I think Arsenal will win the league, Umar? No, I don't. I really don't. If I say they will it make you feel happy? But they won't. Mark, I recommend coming to Colombia. Lovely sights there, says T4H3R. You know what? Can I just be honest? Stereotypically, I'd be shit scared of going to Colombia because I just think I'd get off the plane and get mugged by drug barons and, you know, that sort of thing. But, you know, I'm probably wrong. I've always wanted to go to Cuba. You know, we know like good Godfather 2. When he's in Cuba, Cuba looks like it's just got real history and it just looks really good. Wolfpack, it's not even, mate, it's just so long ago and it's been mentioned so many times. I'm not digging up old graves, to be honest with you. Narcos Bridge, I love Narcos, Shannon Sharp, yes. Chelsea job came far too early in his career for me, says Aaron. I think if this is to be the end of Lampard, the legacy is an interesting one because I think it's the transfer window. It's an amazing thing. That, you know, you can have all those players and it goes wrong. But the sad thing is many people predicted it because it was like, you know, as a United fan, we never really have good transfer windows. And you're like, we finished on the same points as Chelsea and their manager was backed and our manager wasn't backed. And you're like, oh my God, we're never going to finish anywhere near Chelsea this year. And but it was getting to the point with Chelsea where you were like, oh my God, they're buying another player and another player and another player. And that's why people were saying it. You know, Chelsea are doing brilliant things in the transfer window, but how are they going to play them all? And so it's come to pass. So it's interesting. Just taking some notes for the morning show tomorrow. Things come into my head. Can we take a moment to appreciate David Moyes and the job he's doing with West Ham, says Bilal Hassan. And top 5 best Prem youngsters. Love your content. Keep it up. Have a great night, says Oscar. I will struggle with that one. I'd have to bow down to the live comments. I'll come back to that. Top 5 Premier League teenagers, I suppose. It's difficult, isn't it? Because some of them won't have fulfilled their talent and some of them will be playing regular football. So I think, you know, there's probably teenagers who are playing every week for lower level Premier League clubs who would probably deserve to be in the top 5 ahead of a you know, a Martinelli who's hardly played this year, who might be a better talent. You know what I mean? But West Ham, look, 32 points for West Ham, which puts them into 7th place. They're having a very good season, you know, and I think West Ham fans will be over the moon because they, you know, I know a lot of West Ham fans and they would expect to always be fighting with relegation. That's what they sort of expect. Interestingly, West Ham's next couple of games are interesting. Crystal Palace, which is a game that, you know, their form in the league would suggest they can win, but it's difficult, isn't it? And then they've got Liverpool, and then they've got Aston Villa, and then they've got Fulham, and then they've got Sheffield United. So there are games for them to win. Vardy was through there, but Mendy's got it. So, you know, West Ham, they just got to keep doing what they're doing, haven't they? Really, and see where it takes them. Exactly. Do you find it disrespectful that Ricky doesn't make the effort to pronounce the players' names correctly, e.g. Marshall and Bailey? That doesn't really bother me, George, to be honest. I get loads of names wrong myself. I don't. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me if I'm honest. But I'm not Tony Marshall. 10 minutes to go. Chelsea need a goal very, very quickly. Reece James running forward. The pass is on if he plays it quick enough, but it's Fofana again. I tell you what, he's man of the match. He's easily man of the match. Easily man of the match, Fofana. I can't. It's just been so good. So good. Corner to Leicester. Is it just me, though, or have you seen it as well? I just think Fofana's been absolutely brilliant. Hi, Mark. Looking at Solskjaer versus Lampard, who's the better manager? Whacking. Well, one of those is probably about to get sacked in the next few hours, so I think you've answered it yourself. I tell you what, I would like to do a Conor McGregor watch along, but the only thing that stops me from doing it is the time. I'd be so tired at that time. I'd have to go to bed to get up, and you know, it's probably going to be over in about a minute, isn't it? And I know there's loads of other fights. I mean, how long will it be on if I watched it? Hours wise, and is it worth watching it all, or would you watch it from a certain point? Because I'd normally just record it and watch it in the morning before I look at my phone. Lampard out, Mark. No consistency with the starting 11. Then he wonders why he's let down, completely out of his depth, says Taylor J. 3 to 5 a.m, says Paul Riley. 6 hours, says Kian, yeah. Should have stayed at Derby, learns the ropes, lower down like Gerrard in Scotland. We all know he's primed for the Liverpool job when Klopp leaves, says Eric and Discan. I mean, I'd sort of agree with that. Was it too much too soon? But he did do well last year. Do you ever get people asking for pictures, Mark, says Ori Langan? It's very difficult when we're in lockdown. But it has happened a few times, yeah. But I find it quite embarrassing, really. I do find it quite embarrassing, that sort of thing. I'm not a vain person. As much as I act it in front of the camera, I'm not really. This is better than United stands, says Daryl. Well, I'm glad everyone enjoys this channel because I really enjoy it. So subscribe, bottom right hand corner. I enjoy this channel because it's enjoyment. I mean, I love Manchester United, but it's stressful. You know, every game's stressful because it matters so much. I watch these games and we chat about things, and it's just football. I'm watching football that I enjoy, that I choose to watch. Whereas with Manchester United, if you love football, you watch your team every game, whether it's a bloody US tour game or a friendly or whatever, because that's what it is. Whereas this, I'm just watching games that I think are going to be good. Would it be too many players for an experienced manager, says Jack Brown 852. I don't think I think it's a great question, Jack Brown. I don't think an experienced manager like Pep, or I think it's a brilliant question actually. I don't think an experienced manager like Pep or Klopp would have sanctioned that many signings. I don't, because I think it was what everybody expected it to be. So yeah, absolutely fantastic player, really really good, and Chelsea have got a free kick here on the edge of the box. They need to sort of score it. Fofana's just got a yellow card, actually. What aftershaves do you use, Ibuka? You know what? I'm going to answer that question because I would love to know what celebrities wear aftershave-wise. Not because I admire them. I'd love to know what DiCaprio wears. I'd love to know what, like, Liam Gallagher wears and people like that. I just think it's very interesting what aftershaves people wear and join in. So I bought... It was very expensive, but I'd always wanted to buy it, that Creed one, which is about £200 for a bottle. And don't worry, I'm not loaded. I just it was locked because we've been in lockdown. I haven't spent money on holidays and stuff, so I thought I want to treat myself, which I'm sure many people did. And I've still got some money set aside to get a PS5 when I can get one. Free kick comes in from Ziyech. Goal! Chelsea! Werner! He's got one back. He's offside. Typical. Absolutely typical. He might not be. He might not be. He's only just. If he is off. I think he's on. No, he's not. He's off. He's off. He's going to be off. It's the angle. I thought he was going to be on, but he's off. Yeah, so talk about aftershaves. Yeah, I've tried that Creed. About 200 quid a bottle. I tell you what, cool water's better, I think. I mean, you know, I don't know if you... I've not been out. I've not worn it out. I don't know whether you wear it out in a bar and everyone just comes towards you, man and woman and dog. what's that smell? But I'm not massively impressed with it. It's okay. I've got this Gucci one at the moment as well that's quite nice. Yeah. And Savage, I've got some of that as well. Dior Savage. Aventus was mint, but I love Savage and nowhere near the cost. Tom Ford is so good too. Value for money. Invictus is great in my opinion, says Anthony Dunn. There you go. Predictions for City Villa tomorrow, if it's not postponed, that is, says Joshua Bowater. Is it up for being postponed, Joshua? I didn't know. I love that Chelsea's struggling, but Lampard needs time. It's going to take time for all these players to settle in. Not everyone's Bruno, says Sean Negative Turner. And I think that's a good point by Sean as well. Does Lampard need more time? Should he get more time? And I think that's probably where I'm at as well. Is Fofana an example where it pays off to give faith to a young centre-back? Ollie should do the same with Twansebi and Mengi. We don't need another centre-back. That's a good point to discuss tomorrow. Fofana equals Twansebi. And I don't think Villa will beat Man City tomorrow. I would love them to beat them. I will be watching that game, but it'll be on the United stand because I've got to do team news, so I can't do a watch along for that on here. But if you want to watch, I will be watching Man City Villa. I'll just be live on the United stand. I'd love Man City to drop some points, but I think at the moment they're in that rhythm of they're probably going to win about 10, 12 games in a row. Yes. But we've only got a couple of minutes left. I can't see Chelsea getting something now. Thanks for all the super chats, by the way. Chelsea, same as United. They both lack real leaders, says Taylor Jones. Yeah, well, they're not the same, are they? Because we're top of the league. Well, we were top of the league. And they're not. And that's a foul by Ziyech. I think Chelsea will become a good team because I think they've got so many good players. If it's going to take a new manager for that to happen, then it's going to take a new manager for that to happen, isn't it? They look like they need they do. You know, it's such a difficult one. I personally wouldn't sack him. I'd wait till the end of the season. I don't think Chelsea have ever shown that patience to do that. But I think they will be a good team at some point. I just don't know whether he can do it now because the players just look. They're nowhere near the level they should be. Nowhere near. Hassan Holt was on their verge of sacking November 2019. Look at him now. I don't think Lampard would do that, but you never know. I'm a United fan, says Shane Brown. I said it with Arteta. I'm going to be consistent with Lampard. I wouldn't sack him. I'd give him till the end of the season. But patience is a virtue in football. It doesn't happen a lot, does it? I will be doing a little match reaction after this game as well. I have been recording when I've done a watch along. I do like a 5-minute match reaction that I'll just record it afterwards and then upload it. So I have been taking a few notes for that. So I will be doing a match reaction, which I'll upload about 10 minutes afterwards. So if you're subscribed, get your notifications on by doing the bell thing, and you will get a notification for that. Ollie with Chelsea squad would be topped by miles, says Anthony Dunn. Well, but would he? I think Chelsea. One of Chelsea's big problems is the size of their squad. You know, you can't keep everybody happy. They've got too many players. You know, you look at their bench tonight. It's amazing, and Giroud and Kante aren't there, and there's probably some other players that aren't there, but they're still at the club, and that's dissatisfaction in the dressing room that you might not be aware of, which feeds into the team. Charlie says we've got to look at Fofana. Look. Fofana's been fantastic, but he's only just gone to Chelsea. You're not going to get him. He's only just gone to Leicester. And he went for about 30 million as well. So he ain't going anywhere for a couple of years. And Leicester are going to be a good team because of that. I mean, when they get Fofana and Sionku together... But Johnny Evans is playing really well as well. I'm looking forward to United playing Arsenal. Sonny Singh. I don't think we'll necessarily win that. I think Arsenal will give us a good game. They always do. They raise it, don't they? But we've got to be honest, we've got to beat Fulham and Sheffield United first. Get 6 points in them and then worry about Arsenal. Wackim says, do you think Chelsea would be better without the new players? Probably. As weird as it sounds, I think they would. And I think it's a good point again. I think if he had the same players as last year, they'd be playing the same system, wouldn't they? They're nowhere near that. Thoughts on Ronaldo following United on Insta last night, says Taylor Jones. I was surprised he doesn't already. Chelsea got that many players in to make up the lost transfer windows due to their ban. Overbuying has cost them, says Busting Up. Yeah, I think you're right there. I think they tried to catch up, didn't they? And it's not worked. Ziyech should have hit that first time. And keeper saves it. He's got no right foot there, Ziyech, or he doesn't trust it. Comes to him on the edge of in the box. He's got lots of space here when it comes to him. He should be hitting that first time with his right foot. Either or crossing it to the back post of Werner. It's, you know, what's he doing there? Poor from Ziyech. No right foot. Into the last minute. And it's Leicester on the attack. Good tackle by Ziyech. I mean, to be fair to Ziyech, though, he's done a lot more in his 20 minutes than Hudson-Odoi did. I don't know you, Mark, but do whatever makes you happy. Take a break if you need one. Werner running through. Good tackle. Please do whatever is best for you. Thanks, Ready HD. As a man manager, I think Ollie would get the best from that Chelsea squad. He can be ruthless. Van der Beek as an example, says Anthony Dunn. And that's the whistle. And is that the whistle for Lampard? Is that the end of Frank Lampard as a Chelsea manager? 2-0, no goals. Comprehensively beaten, actually. Leicester the better side. Is that it for Lampard? It's full time. It might well be. I'm going to do a match reaction for you. I'll upload that in about 10 minutes' time. FIFA Career Mode's back tomorrow. I'll be watching United Fulham on the United Stand, and also I'll be watching Man City Villa when the team news is coming out for that, if you want to join us on the United Stand. Please subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I'll have a match reaction coming up in about 10 minutes. It could be the end of Lampard. That's what I'm going to go with. I think it is. I'll speak to you soon. Thanks for watching.